Have you ever had a football manager save so good that it invades your life?
Oh my word! The ultimate teenage kick! Oh, what a goal! My word, this boy's a star!
The only thing you think about that ruins your sleep schedule. Playing in the night, sleeping in the day, which literally sucks you in. This is that save for me. Today, we're going to be managing FBK Balkan of Sweden. Some of you might see where this is going. But anyway, a quick Google search tells us the club was founded in 1962 and that they currently play in the Division 2 Södra Götaland, or to say it a bit easier, the fourth tier of Swedish football. Additionally, it's also where a certain Zlatan started playing football. And so, with the club's name being FBK Balkan, we'll be trying to win the European Champions League while only using players from the 12 Balkan nations. That's right. We're gonna try and win the most prestigious trophy in all of Europe while only using Balkans. So sit back, relax, and I hope you all enjoy. We begin our story by naturally getting some Balkans through the doors. A lot of them, in fact. With the marquee signings being left-winger Katanas, goalkeeper Martin Sevic, and right-winger Aydin Avdic, who was here even before me. And so, this is how the squad looked for the opening day tie with IFK Hässleholm, which turned out to be a stalemate, as an offside goal from Katanas was the only real highlight. Nevertheless, the following games saw Avdic and Katanas providing themselves, each other and striker Perkovic to secure an unbeaten start and a good foundation. We built further on said foundation, with Perkovic, Avdic and Katanas launching us to a rather incredible first season at the club. Champions, albeit by a single point down to Hässleholms IF, as we completed an unbeaten season. Now though, it's time to delve back into the transfer market and go for back-to-back. And so, back into the transfer market we went. Plenty more Balkans through the doors, including a lot of loans, which a certain someone would be proud of. The big boys were centre-back Vrbeljanac on loan, goalkeeper Miladinovic, and midfielders Kondic and Prekodravac, as the three latter came in permanently. We also had heroes from last season, such as Aydin Avdic still in the starting 11, but with Perkovic unfortunately dropping to the bench in favour of lone striker Lukic. So with a complete squad, we can go into our opener against Harestads. Avdic continued his form from last season by getting the opener with this nice finish 30 minutes in, which was followed by a dead ball masterclass from new right back Dordevic. First, he scored this audacious free kick, prior to also slotting one in from 12 yards to make it a comfortable 3-1 opening day win. We followed that up with a 3-2 win over Astrio, with lone striker Lukic opening his account, in addition to Avdic getting his second goal in as many games. 2 wins from 2 made me even more confident that we could get ourselves up and out of this division and go back to back. And that's exactly what we did. Thanks to a late comeback against promotion rivals Falkenbergs, we secured the title on the second to last match day, with Avdic of course getting our first with his neat finish from a tight angle, before centre-back Ilic came in clutch just 4 minutes later, with this rebound from Bartol's woodwork hit. Which means we're champions again. 65 points in 30 games was the recipe in the end. as a 3-point gap down to aforementioned Falkenbergs means back-to-back promotions. And now we need to get ready to take on the Superettan. Now, as the chapter title says, we are gonna go for 3 straight. In order to do so though, we'd need some signings to take on the Superettan. Following on from the loan galore of last season, we toned it down a bit, while still bringing in a couple, including Serbian striker Vasilije Grbovic and Bologna player Borin Tomasevic. A couple notable permanent signings also came in. Left winger Valmir Veliu, right winger Simeon Alexandrov, and finally a historic signing, as this guy is the first we've paid a fee for. Matevž Vrabec, a 20-year-old promising midfielder. Another historic event has transpired, as we've made the first sale in FBK Balkan history. Well, at least in our universe. Hajduk Split, yes, the Hajduk Split, has picked up Marin Prekodravac for 25k. Yep, 25k. It is some money. And we have got him back on a free loan for the season as well. The team now looked like this. We'd somehow managed to keep star player and youngster Jovan Miladinovic in net despite a lot of interest. Prekodravac and new captain Leon Kondic made up the midfield. And finally a completely new attack in Veliu, Alexandrov and loan signing Grbovic. So with us being predicted to finish as high as 4th, I was expecting a thumping opening day victory against the big favourites for relegation. But that didn't happen. Instead, we found ourselves 3-0 down inside 35 minutes. And as we only mustered a lone goal, we saw ourselves kick the season off with a shock 3-1 defeat. The following game, however, saw us continue in the same path. A good missed chance from Bartol was followed by an even bigger miss from new signing Alexandrov. At this point, I'd had enough. So I brought on none other than the cult hero Aydin Avdic. And lo and behold, he did this 15 minutes later. It wasn't over though. Cause as they got a corner in added time, Miguel Sandberg slotted it past the struggling Miladinovic to keep us waiting for our first ever win at this level. Having said that, we didn't have to wait long. Grbovic opened his account 20 minutes in, before putting another one away just 8 minutes later. 2 more goals followed in the second half, with captain Kondic and new signing Alexandrov getting on the score sheet to at last secure our first win in the Superettan. We kicked on from that, with a 4-1 thumping over Overhaul coming next, prior to a nice and easy 3-1 away win to Örgryte in the 5th game. It seemed like giving Leon Kondic the captain's role was bringing his game to another level, as he got the opener just 3 minutes in against top side Örebro. Since we scored so early, it made the game very long. And in the end, they got their equalizer to make it an annoying but fair 1-1 draw. Even so, it did have me optimistic for the remainder of the season. While we did have a rocky start, we'd bounced back with 5 games unbeaten in a row. So bring it on.
With appreciation of this. Doesn't need any words. Just wonderment, really. On he goes!
Well, I was right to be optimistic. With 9 games to go, we're in 2nd, just 3 points behind our next opponents, IK Brage. And we take the lead. Alexandrov put it away with this neat finish from Kondic's slightly lucky deflected pass. 53 minutes in though, our Greek centre-back Bagalianis brought his man down to get them a pen. Musin would step up to the plate. And miss it. With that, we pick up the win and go past FBK Balkan in the table to take the top spot. A 5-0, 1-0 and a 2-1 win followed. As we're now going into the game, we can secure promotion. It was a dull 1-1 draw, where our goal came from the spot. But it's enough. Because of third place Örebro losing, we've secured promotion with 4 games to go. After a few rather disappointing watches in the next few games, we finally secured the title on the final match day, with a bonkers 4-3 win. The star man this season, Constance, opened the scoring, prior to an honorable mention for star man, Grbovic, getting a brace. And finally, the big disappointment this season, Ilievski got the final one, to only get his 5th of the season. Champions once again. 3 straight promotions, 3 incredible years, and one hell of a ride already. But remember, we're just getting started. Some big news was coming out of the FBK Balkan camp going into our first ever campaign at the top level. Our goalie Jovan Miladinovic had been sold to Hamburger Sportverein for just shy of 2 million. Even though we didn't want him out, he demanded so. In the end, he got his move, we got our money, and we got him back on loan for the season. So a win-win for everyone involved. Even more of a win was the fact that the board's reinvestment of said money into our facilities, which is desperately needed, and clearly an area to improve in the coming years. The recruitment side had returned to a loan frenzy, with 7 of our starting 11 being here on a temporary basis. 2 of them were becoming permanent, however, as Vukicevic and Jakupovic would join at the end of the season. The only real quality permanent signing we made was a slightly familiar name. Right wing-back Thailand Bullet from Besiktas came in for just 65k. Otherwise, the loan of Milovan Jovanovic was a real pickup. I was feeling rather confident with our recruitment being a done deal, but that took a turn when I saw the predictions. And when we only managed a 1-1 draw with Landskrona to open the season. But my concerns were swiftly eased, when Preko Dravac, who's returned for another season on loan, got us the lead against Malmö. We were then brought right back down to earth just 9 minutes later. But then we ran away with the game. Marsetic got us back in the lead. Vale then made it 3 before Constance topped it off with a 4th. We ran away 4-1 winners against the best side in Sweden the last 10 years. That was our first win in the Allsvenskan. That game. This was a Champions League side just a couple months ago, and we, tiny little Balkan, beat them 4-1. Perhaps this was a sign of things to come. Maybe, just maybe, we could do something special this season. Halfway, it actually looked like it as well. We'd proven we could hack it with the big boys by beating aforementioned Malmö, but not just once, twice. Despite going a goal down twice, we came back twice, with Valmir Velju being a constant threat against the defense of the Swedish champions of the last 3 years. Eventually, right before the interval, we got the lead for the first time after some luck went our way. And just 7 minutes into the second half, our newest and only summer signing did this. Speaking of which, he's an absolute gem, and our record signing by a mile. 550k was the amount we had to cough up. But hopefully, he'll be here for years to come. It wasn't just Malmö we'd been good against. We'd drawn with AIK and beaten last year's IRL miracle workers Mjällby. That all meant a current 4th place, while being tied on points with Landskrona and Häcken in 2nd and 3rd. It looks like we have a genuine chance of getting European football in our first ever season in the Allsvenskan. As we drew closer to the end of the season, the possibility was very much still there. We were now in 3rd, but with it being so incredibly tight from 1st to 5th, we'd have to fight with tooth and nail all the way in. Looking at the title race though, which we, believe it or not, are listed in, we have quite an easy run in compared to the teams around us. A tough game came first, away to Elfsborg. Following an early missed chance, they got the lead just 2 minutes later, as a well put together move simply caught us out. 20 minutes before the end, however, the goal finally came our way. Nikolic, who'd come on up top just 3 minutes earlier, headed the ball in from centre-back Vukicevic's pinpoint cross. That was it, as we picked up a decent but slightly disappointing point away from home. After a game of missed chances against bottom half side Sundsvall, our new signing Djokic did something magnificent to finally get us the sought-after goal. And win. Yet another tight game followed against Norrköping, with us getting the only goal once again, but very early this time, through Nikolic. And now, with a win against bottom of the table guys, we've as much as secured top 4 and European football for the coming season. As the players came walking out, I couldn't help but think about the journey we'd been on. From the midst of the 4th tier to the brink of continental football in the span of only 4 seasons. It's been a glorious ride, and we're simply 90 minutes away from making it that much better. 7 minutes in, Jovanovic took his fullback for a ride, before crossing it in Jakupovic's direction. They got it away from the immediate danger zone, but aforementioned Jakupovic picked it up, cut inside and slotted it in the opposite corner with this smart finish. We too struggled with the clearances, as Marshurge equalized it just before the break came around. Our goalscorer proceeded to continue like he'd done all season, by missing massive chance on massive chance. 5 minutes before the end, someone finally stepped up. And who else but our new gem of a signing Djokic to send us to the promised land. UEFA Conference League football is coming to FBK Balkan. The final game of the season is here, at home against Hammarby. If we win, we get 2nd place and deny Hammarby of snatching the title away from Landskrona on the final day. It was a game of very few chances, with the first coming like this 23 minutes in. Just 4 minutes before the end, Jovanovic got the ball from Konstantinov. He went around the defense and proceeded to miss from 3 yards. So we had to watch as Hammarby lifted the Allsvenskan trophy to complete the double. What a season we've had either way. It's been out of this world. And who knows, maybe that'll be us lifting the trophy in a year's time. Going into the season we'd make our European debut, we had a real problem. We had a lack of goals, with striker Jakupovic being especially disappointing. In other words, we needed to bring in someone with a knack for goal scoring. That's where our new record signing Jonut Raciu comes in. He, alongside centre-back Razvan Veres, came in from relegated Romanian side Steaua Bucuresti for a combined fee of just over $1 million. Raciu is a next-gen list member, so I have some serious expectations for him. Next, we made a Jovanovic loan permanent and extended the Tomasevic loan for yet another season, before also bringing in a few new loans. DM F.A. Akman, goalkeeper Veličković, and finally a lad who, despite his age, I've had my eye on for quite some time. Greek winger Stelios Loupis came in on loan with an option to buy, which will surely activate. The final signing we made was also the biggest, and by a mile at that. Ioan Rusu came in for 5.75 million, which was a lot of installments included. Hopefully he'll get us some goals, and maybe even into the Conference League proper. Speaking of the Conference League, we're now heading into the qualifiers. But first, a summary of a topsy-turvy season so far. We opened the ball with a strong 3-2 win over Elfsborg thanks to a blistering first half. We failed to keep our form going, however, as we only won once in the next 5 games. The drastic times called for drastic measures, which came in the form of a tactic change. The ballsy 5-1-3-1 is gone, and the old trusty 4-2-3-1 is back. Going into May, barring a 2-0 loss to Hammarby, we went unbeaten until the day today. We picked up a solid win against last year's second place Landskrona, and finally a decent points and a 2-2 draw with AIK. That sees us 6th in the table as we're just over halfway. There is only 4 points up to second though, so it's tight once again. One more subject needs talking about before our European adventure can begin. That is the arrival of Ermin Sismond. He's a versatile 19-year-old who's come in for $1 million flat. In the opposite direction, last season's disappointment, Jakupovic, went for 1.4 million to Olympia, so a simple swap deal with the Slovenian club. Now it's finally time to enter the Conference League qualifiers, as we're up against Moldovan side Sheriff Tiraspol. Away from home in the first leg, our new striker made it a blissful trip home, as he secured a 1-0 scoreline in our favour. The first half at home went as bad as it could have, with the Moldovans taking the lead on aggregate. We finally switched on with 20 minutes to go. F.A. Akman made it equal on aggregate, and with one of the final chances of the game, Raciu scored once again to send us through. An audacious free kick from another new lad, Floriancic, got us the lead against Latvian side Spartaks. Both legs then turned into comfortable affairs, with Stelios Lupis getting 2 goals in the 6-3 aggregate win. That means we're a 2-legged win over Danish side Sønderjyske away from the Conference League proper. A single chance was the case away from home, and it fell to them. Christian Fruensgaard pounced on Tomasevic's clearance, which hit Sismond's back. That meant a 1-0 deficit for us to turn over in the second leg. Fortunately, on the day, we were switched on. We came close twice in the opening 8 minutes, before Baran Özmen did this. It doesn't get much closer than that. 4 minutes later, corner taker F.A. Akman got the ball from a poor clearance. He tried playing it across the box, but Raciu wasn't there. That was because of Drongesen fouling him in a process, giving us a penalty. Centre-back Vukicevic would step up. He sent the goalie the wrong way to equalize it on aggregate. Nothing happened for an extended amount of time, meaning extra time looked increasingly likely. Until the 79th. A well put together move led to Floriancic converting from 10 yards to send us through to the Conference League proper. We're officially in a major European competition, which is that one step closer to our ultimate goal, the UEFA Champions League. Returning to the league, our Romanian lad up top was performing like his life depended on it. He scored in 4 games in a row, essentially securing 10 points from 4 games, all on his own. A game away from scoring in the 0-0 draw with Djurgårdens was more than enough of a goal drought, as he returned to scoring in the following game, where we beat Landskrona 2-1. We simply continued in the following 3 games as well, picking up a 2-1 win over Sundsvall, a 3-3 draw with Mjällby, and finally a 3-0 hammering of Hammarby. As we've gone 15 games unbeaten, we've unsurprisingly climbed up the table. With 5 games left, we're in second. A single point behind Elfsborg, but also only 2 points ahead of 4th. This might just turn out to be the title fight of the century. Our 26th game is against Göteborg at home. An offside goal for both teams was almost all that happened. One final chance came our way though. Our captain Thailand Bullet picked up a clearance, played a 1-2 with fellow Turk Akman, before finishing smartly into the far corner to get us the tremendously important 3 points. A game that looked easy, with Raciu giving us the lead early, turned dramatic not long after. Goalscorer Raciu decided he wanted some drama, so he handled the ball in our box to give them a penalty. Thankfully, Velickovic saved it to secure us yet another win. Our hero goalie turned into 0 against Norrköping, as he completely fluffed his lines, leading to Ambrosino taking the lead for them. A good passing move down the left led to Djokic equalizing. Ultimately though, we couldn't get the winner, and since Elfsborg won their match, we're now trailing by 3 points. Despite beating both Malmö and Örebro, it wasn't enough to get our hands on the elusive Allsvenskan title this time around. Nonetheless, it's been another season of success at the highest level in Sweden. A third place finish, followed by a second place finish, and European qualification, all in the first 2 seasons at the highest level, is pretty absurd. Concerning European qualification, how did we do? Well, it was a struggle. Unsurprisingly, we lost to Fiorentina. It wasn't as bad as the scoreline said though. We kept it close at the 2-1 scoreline until the 87th, but then collapsed completely. 5-1 ended up being the final score. Poor defending at the death caused another loss, this time 1-0 to Rapid of Romania. In the third game, however, we finally performed. We put together a rather brilliant team move, all the way from Veljkovic up to Djokic, who scored off both posts. Late on, Horvat doubled our lead to get a solid 2-0 win over Utrecht and claim our first ever 3 points in Europe. We then took the lead against Rijeka as well, with Raciu finally getting his first league phase goal. And what a finish to get it with. So late on, however, they equalized and got the winner in the 95th minute. 95th. Yet another late loss came against Sparta Prague. Stanic conceded a pen, which Krasniki just about got past Veljkovic. And then Karabek did this. I mean, fair play for that one at least. Only a miracle would get us through at this point. We did at least do our part, with a 6-0 humiliation of the clear last place Dudelange. F.A. Akman, who's been so solid all season, got himself a hat-trick in what might be his final game at the club. Hang on though, we're actually through. We've absolutely sneaked our way into the knockouts, as we advance on goal difference over 3 other teams on 6 points. We keep doing the unimaginable in this bonkers journey we're on, and I cannot wait for the knockouts next season. Romanian side FCSB is on the other side in a knockout playoff round. The first leg, at home, was pretty much a summary of how the European season has gone. We took the lead through F.A. Akman, who's returned permanently to the club, before they ultimately scored 2 late goals to get the win. The second leg, in contrast, was a dominant performance from start to finish. Raciu, Baran Özmen and Raciu again got our 3 goals to complete the comeback and advance as 4-2 winners. Fiorentina turned out to be our opponents in the round of 16, the side that pummeled us 5-1 in the league phase. Surprisingly, we held on for the first of 4 halves. Their lead became a fact just 8 minutes into the second, however. At their home ground, it became clear why they were massive favourites. Baldanzi and Sotil made it both 2 and 3-0 on aggregate. Raciu then briefly revived our hope, before an own goal from Özmen made it disappear completely. Despite Raciu once again reviving us from the dead, and then Djokic making it a 1-goal game on aggregate, it was too late. So we get knocked out by Fiorentina by a single goal. Even though it is disappointing, you could have seen it coming. But now, with a new season starting and a newly formed young-looking side, surely we'd have a chance at this year's Allsvenskan title, right? A chance to at last get our girl.
Once again, we are at it together. The stuff of stellar champions. The favourites have got through by the narrowest of margins.
So 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine. All these points, you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
They've won it. They've done it.
5, 6, come on and get your kicks. Now you don't need the money when you look like that, do you, honey? Big black boots, long brown hair. She's so sweet with her. Well, I could see you home with me, but you were with another man, yeah. I know we ain't got much to say before I let you get away, yeah. I said, are you gonna be my girl? It's 1, 2, 3,
The best club competition in the world.
It's a fantastic start, completely unexpected here. And that is the top and the bottom of it. That is a fall in the head.
Big black boots, long brown hair. She's so sweet with her, yeah, back stare. Well, I could see you home with me, but you were with another man, yeah. I know we ain't got much to say before I let you
Elio SC Lille. Borussia Dortmund.
I said, are you gonna be my girl?
Considered one of the best talents in his position.
I've gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Football taking human beings to places they hadn't imagined.
I know we ain't got much to say before I let you get away, yeah.
Mountain to climb, they climbed it.
Be my girl. Are you gonna be my girl? Yeah.
That's what they came for. The Magic Man.
Hang on, we're in a Champions League quarter-final. The quarter-final! It's been an impressive few years since the grueling loss to Fiorentina in the Conference League round of 16. As it all started with getting our hands on the elusive Allsvenskan title back in 2028. That seemed like it re-energized the club, as we've now got 4 league titles in a row and 2 cup titles. Now back to what really matters at this point of the story. The UEFA Champions League. We'd somehow, and I say somehow for a reason, managed to make it to the quarters. We pulled off a miraculous second leg comeback against Lyon, eventually winning on penalties, before facing a solid Spurs side led by Unai Emery. With a rather incredible solo goal from captain F.A. Akman, we dispatched the North London side 2-1 away from home. And now, Bayern are next up. The champions of Germany for the last 20 years, and the current holders of the Champions League. So this is a real test. Before said test, I feel like I need to reintroduce the playing squad, as a lot of players have come and gone over the last 4 years. The man in net is now Andreas Schuster of Bosnia, as we really went for it to develop him a couple years back. Croatian Gigolaj is now our right back, inverted I might add, as Sismon was sold to Leicester. Kuzmanovic is still here, starting alongside Luka Vuskovic, with Greek man Kouliarakis on the bench. Milevski is rotating with Klirim Gojani, who we somehow got for free from Dortmund. In midfield, F.A. Akman is still starting, and is still our captain. And he's now got 2 Croatians beside him, in Toni Zelenica and Igor Kasunic. On the flanks we have Dragan Radivojevic, who famously replaced Jon Udracu, and Ratko Celar on the opposite flank as a Raumdeuter. Up top we have the lad who came in to score goals for fun, Vinko Dujmovic. On the bench there's also a lot of quality, which is essential to succeed in the biggest club competition in the world. Speaking of the biggest club competition in the world, we're away to Bayern in the first leg of the quarter-final. Not much was expected of us, as we went into the tie with a feeling of gratitude, and that we didn't really belong here. But that soon changed. After a half chance for both sides, we made it happen for ourselves. A patient passing move saw star man Radivojevic get the ball out wide. He fooled his man Sildilia to get to the byline, before squaring it for Ratko Celar to tap in. That means a 1-goal lead in a bag home to Sweden. And I started to feel like we genuinely had a chance of making the semi-final. That would happen without Dusan Tosic, however, who picked up an injury in the final moments of the first leg. The second leg, at home in front of nearly 20,000 people, saw us extend our lead just seconds before the break. In rather bad faith, we continued playing despite getting the ball from João Felix pulling up with an injury. Ratko Celar pounced on it to score his second goal against the Bavarians. The Bayern players, with good reason, felt cheated. They did just have to carry on, however, as it's the ref's decision at the end of the day. For us, doubt started to creep in as Musiala orchestrated a goal back. That doubt only grew as time went on, and got topped off with Darvic seeing his shot sensationally stopped by Andreas Schuster. Moments later, the ref blew his whistle. We, FBK Balkan, are into the Champions League semi-final. Wow. The question now was, could we make it happen this season? Already? Well, it certainly wasn't going to get any easier, with one of the best sides in the history of the game being in our way of a ticket to the final. Barcelona. A 2032 version of Barcelona was surprisingly without Lamine Yamal, who's on loan at AC Milan. Their team was very much still frightening though, with Samu Omorodion up top, and Trent in midfield. He's certainly not kept any of his friends in Madrid after that move. And he's been at City. Wow, he's really trying to burn every single bridge he's ever built. The first half of the home leg quickly turned into a nightmare, with Ferran Torres and Gavi giving the Catalans a 2-0 lead. However, the tie definitely had more twists and turns in it, as we came back to get a 2-2 draw in the home leg and set up a blockbuster second leg at Camp Nou. The second leg started in the same way as the first, a goal for Barcelona. Samu this time. We didn't need a feisty halftime team talk this time though, as Radivojevic replied just 7 minutes later. Or rather, Araujo replied. From that point on, we dominated. A decent chance missed later, Kasunic got us the lead after a well put together move. Two more missed chances as the clock ran down was all that transpired, as FBK Balkan are through to the Champions League final. The Champions League final. There we'd face Liverpool. After securing 6th in the league phase, rivals Manchester United was next up. A 2-1 loss away was swiftly turned into a draw at home, before a penalty shootout settled it. A 9-1 humiliation of Marseille followed, prior to 2 late second leg goals against Real Madrid sending them through to the final in Budapest, or more precisely, the Puskás Arena. The 2032 rendition of Liverpool was as scary as you could imagine, with the likes of Weerts and world-class striker Van Duyven starring. As the players walked out to the packed-out crowd that May night in Budapest, I couldn't help but feel that this was premature, that we didn't belong here. And maybe that feeling creeped into the players as well, because we found ourselves 3-0 down before even a third of the match had gone. The one game we have to turn up in. We don't. It didn't get better from there either, with aforementioned Weerts and Van Duyven making it both 4 and 5-0 before the whistle for halftime was blown. The humiliation was then complete as Gravenberch made it 6. A pity goal from Tosic was all we mustered on the night, and Liverpool were deservedly crowned champions of Europe. Perhaps it was too early for us. Perhaps we'd gotten lucky in our run to the final. Perhaps it wasn't meant to be. But we can't give up now. 9 years in. 9 years of rise. 9 years of pandemonium. No, we keep going. We keep fighting. And we keep believing. And believe we did, especially after the summer window had come and gone. We went big, as this felt like the year we could finally do it. Become champions of Europe. The talk of the town was the arrival of Josip Šutalo on a free transfer. After playing for the likes of Real Madrid and Manchester City, he decided he wanted a fresh new challenge. So FBK Balkan it is. But the man the money was spent on came in from French side Saint-Étienne. Can Bozdogan is now a Balkan player, as he's come in for a club record fee of £45 million. The rise of Sweden in the last few years has undeniably shown in the coefficient rankings, with the Nordic nation being the 8th best nation in all of Europe. That also comes with its upsides for us as a club, as we're directly qualified for the league phase this season. The league phase opponents included big sides, such as Arsenal, Atletico Madrid and Bayern. Overall, however, it seemed like a fixture list we could overcome. And overcome, we did. 5 straight wins saw us currently occupying the top spots. Atalanta was dispatched of thanks to 2 goal of the season contenders from Radivojevic and Celar respectively. And can we just talk about Radivojevic's free kick, please? This man scored a goal from 0.01 xg. That is outrageously difficult. Moving on, routine 3-0 and 4-0 wins followed against Shakhtar and Porto. Before we delivered a dominant performance as we hosted the Gunners, now managed by Pep Guardiola. Goals from Dujmovic and Ratko Celar secured the win, which simply continued their way to Lille. A brace from Dujmovic and goals from Kasunic and Celar got us our 5th straight win in what was turning into a walk in the park of a league phase. That was until we visited Slovenian side Olimpia. Yes, you heard that right. The first team we dropped points to was Olimpia. Disappointingly, but understandably, since we're not actually in season when the final 2 league phase games roll around, we also drew with Atletico Madrid. 0-0 was the score in a true Simeone-esque game. He's still there, by the way, still going strong in his 22nd year at the club. Despite already having a historic advancement confirmed, we wanted to show strength away to Bayern in the final game. We did just that, with Ratko Celar, who's quickly turning into a world-class player, and Dusan Tosic getting the 2 goals in the 2-0 away win. An impressive 3rd place was the verdict after all 8 league phase games, meaning FBK Balkan are directly through to the round of 16 for the first time ever. When the draw day came, there was only one team I was dreading to get: Real Madrid. And in true football manager fashion, we got Los Blancos. Now we had to pray for an okay first leg away at the Bernabeu. I can't say it started okay at least. Kasunic, a world-class midfielder who definitely has a good understanding of the game of football, jumped up from a free kick cross to handle the ball, subsequently giving Real Madrid a penalty not even 5 minutes in. Mbappe converted from the spot to get an early lead. Very much against the run of play, we equalized not even 10 minutes later. Dujmovic pounced on F.A. Akman's smart pass through and scored with a toe poke finish past Magnolini to get back to square one. It turned into yet another uphill climb for us, however. Selenica inexplicably headed the ball straight to Miretti in our defensive third, meaning it was an easy job for Vinicius to get Los Blancos the lead once more. At this point, it turned into a bit of a stalemate, with both sides seemingly happy with the result. But more action did indeed come. Sia Erdogan, the 19-year-old Turkish teenager, headed home an equalizer for us with just a couple minutes left. Klirim Gojani was the assister, with what can only be described as a world-class cross. However, in a game which would have been truly incredible for the neutral, even more happened before the full-time whistle. Jude Bellingham got the Madrid side in the lead for the third time that night, meaning we had a mountain to climb back in Sweden. That mountain only became bigger. 3 minutes in, Andreas Schuster, who's normally such a reliable shot stopper, came out to do God knows what, meaning Bellingham once again scored against us. As I said, the mountain only got bigger. 2 more goals from Vinicius Jr. made it a 3-goal deficit for us to overturn. Well, actually a 4-goal deficit. In a story like this, you're probably expecting a thumping second half comeback. But it didn't come. Or actually, it did, but just not enough. We put up an impressive fight back, including 3 goals to get back level in a second leg. Ultimately, the 1-goal lead Real Madrid had from that night in Madrid turned out to be the deciding factor. After getting to the final last year, we'd been stopped 3 stages earlier. And at this point, I don't know how this squad can be improved. We have the strongest squad we've ever had, and we can't even get past the round of 16. We don't have the money to invest in better players either, as that would require funds that were close to or over 100 million. It may be doom and gloom right now, but at the same time, we know what these lads can do. We know that they're special, and we know that they're good enough to achieve our dreams. The doom and gloom of last season was met with an increased amount of optimism in our 11th season at the club. That was mainly because of the board announcing our new stadium officially being opened. Unfortunately, it only holds just shy of 6,000 people, so we will still be playing the majority of our European games at other stadiums. Recruitment-wise, the biggest talking point was the arguable premature sale of record signing Can Bozdogan. After a year at the club, he hadn't impressed much, especially in Europe. So 58 million, a 13 million profit, made sense to cash in, for him to move to Lyon. With that big name and big money signing not working out all too well, we've moved away from making high-profile signings. And it may be because of the likes of Kulusevski's rather outrageous wage demands as well. Instead, we announced the return of Jonut Raciu from Borussia Mönchengladbach. The Romanian lad is back at the club after not really succeeding in the Bundesliga. Other signings included centre-back Sefer Odabashi and youngsters Ersoy, Tomic and finally Jovanovic, who, despite the similarity in name, is not the same as Milovan, who went to Spezia a few years ago. Moving into our 5th Champions League campaign, some tactical tweaks are necessary. Since we have 4 genuinely world-class strikers, we've moved into an offset 4-2-2 instead of a 4-2-3-1. Our league phase opponents this year were arguably the easiest we've ever had. And then you see the final 2 games, PSG and Bayern. But ultimately, despite not managing to win either of those games, we'd won the rest of them. 6 wins in a row to open the season was enough for a second consecutive 3rd place finish, an advancement to the round of 16. The team was working well at this stage, except against PSG and Bayern. But after all, we've just started our season now. Our pre-season was during Christmas, that says a lot. Schuster was keeping the net secure. Selenica and Efe Akman were running the midfield. And a big shout out should be given to Daniel Radojkovic up top. After spending the last few years out on loan, the talent we'd picked up for just £10,000 was swiftly becoming a world-class player. Similarly to last year, the round of 16 draw saw us get a Spanish opponent. Thankfully, at least in my eyes, it was Valencia on the other side. Just as I did, I think the players might have underestimated the Spaniards, because they took their chances in the first leg. Goals from Arkhipov and Wahi gave Valencia a 2-1 lead going into the second leg in Sweden. A post hit and an unbelievable miss was how we started the game. I mean, look at that. How can you not score there? In true FM fashion, they then scored to extend their lead. But hang on, we've got one back here. And another one. And we've taken the lead. We've turned it around in 11 minutes. Back to reality. They got their second on the night and the equalizer on aggregate on the stroke of half-time. We weren't done, however. Radivojevic and finally Dujmovic got our fourth and fifth goals of the night to run away 6-4 aggregate winners. What seemed to be fading into an extortionately frustrating tie turned into a rollercoaster of emotions. And in the end, a happy ending for everyone that likes Swedish football. Now on to the quarters. Things were looking a bit shaky, but we have also shown some serious fighting spirit. So I was optimistic. Then came the draw. FBK Balkan will play Manchester United. It's a side we're not too familiar with, having only played them once, which coincidentally was this year. We'd beaten them 1-0 away at Old Trafford, so we surely had a chance. However, they've just knocked out Real Madrid, our bitter rivals from last season. At home in the first leg, I was looking to get a cushion to take to Old Trafford. But, inexplicably, Captain F.A. Uckman passed it to their captain Brennan Johnson straight from kickoff, causing Ansong to unbelievably get the Red Devils ahead just 20 seconds in. The man that's supposed to ooze calmness and class had incomprehensibly given away the ball. And now, we had a mountain to climb. Fortunately, we started climbing. A move started all the way at the back from Andreas Schuster eventually led to Celar playing Radivojevic through. He played it across the box first time to make it an easy goal for Dujmovic. Back level. Now let's go for more. Not even 4 minutes was needed. So Humchu's clearance was picked up by Gigolai, who ran to the byline, prior to playing a rather weak pass across. But somehow, it found the foot of Radivojevic, who had an even easier job than Dujmovic to give us the lead. Late on, a rare mistake at the back from the side from Manchester was effortlessly pounced on by Zia. That could well be the difference between being semi-finalists and crashing out of this competition. A ping-pong type match was the case at Old Trafford, where it was made clearer and clearer that Man United needed goals. Vuskovic opened the scoring for us 5 minutes in. Højlund then got it back level on the night, before Radivojevic continued to run riot against the Reds' defense. Kobe Mainu then orchestrated another goal back for them 20 minutes into the second. A second goal from Højlund then made it an increasingly nervous affair for the last 20 minutes. 5 minutes before the end, our absolute bargain of a Serbian striker popped up with an impressive weak foot finish to put the game to bed. 6-4 on aggregate yet again. And we're into the Champions League semi-final. Again. There, the German side Red Bull Leipzig awaited us. After beating French side Lille 5-4 in yet another blockbuster Champions League tie, they'd meet, well, us. We'd met them just once before. Let me take you back to January 2030. The 8th and final league phase match was up, as we hosted Leipzig. We had much of the same squad, unlike them, but at this point we hadn't developed into world-class players. No, we were a young side, who eventually went home with our tails between our legs and a 3-1 defeat in the bag. This time though, it was different. We developed. We'd built. We were ready. Or were we? We got run over in the opening 45, with Ouedraogo getting the only goal, which quite frankly was a miracle. And the miracle continued. Zia, who was in for the injured Celar, had struggled against world-class left-back and captain Biciabu. But on the stroke of half-time, he finally delivered. He played through our main man Dragan Radivojevic with a pinpoint pass, which the Serbian man finished smartly to sensationally go level in at a break. The German side once again showed their quality. Despite our best efforts to stop them, Cornacini got them the lead again. And that was the end of it. 2-1. It's not the worst though. We can definitely turn this around. And turn it around? Well, we did. fast start with Kuzmanovic rising up from fellow countryman Radivojevic's delivery was exactly what we needed. It kind of fizzled out from there, but there was a sense of belief that I hadn't previously felt. We weren't some small side anymore. No, we were a force to be reckoned with. That showed. Kasunic got us in front 3 minutes ahead of a break. Then he got another. And another. Igor Kasunic turned the Leipzig defense into mannequins as he got himself a hat-trick. 4-0 on the night, 5-2 aggregate win, and we're into the bloody final. This time it's another English side. Arsenal. Now led by Pep Guardiola, the North London side has won the Premier League 4 times in the last 8 years, including this season. And they've done it by some margin, so it's not gonna be easy. Despite their quality all over the pitch, they only just squeezed through in 8th in the league phase, but they got through, where they then met and dispatched of AC Milan. A 1-0 loss at the Emirates to Bayern was swiftly overturned in the away leg, prior to hosting Barcelona in the semi-final first leg. That turned into a drilling, with world-class talent Daryl Gormley getting a hat-trick. It still got exciting at the Camp Nou, however, with the Catalans putting up an impressive fight. But with Gormley getting yet another goal, the Gunners ran away 4-3 winners to get to their second UCL final in as many years. Yeah, that's right. They were there last year, ultimately losing out to arch-rival Spurs, as Kulusevski got the winner in the 91st. So they are seriously back for revenge. But so are we. 2 years after the disgraceful 6-1 final loss to Liverpool, we were well and truly back on the big stage. Overall, we've gotten lucky with injuries, as Natsev is the only one out. We line up in our familiar 4-2-2, and the team selection had some decisions to be made. The back 5, except for Kuzmanovic's spot, has been set in stone for some time. Kuzmanovic ended up being the favoured pick, however, ahead of Šutaru, with the Croatian getting older and slower, so Kuzmanovic it is. Selenica and F.A. Akman start in the middle, our 2 warriors, and no-brainers to pick. Kasunic and Radivojevic are naturally also no-brainers, with the 2 other attacking spots being the only real contentious decision. I ended up going for Celar and Radojkovic because of their recent form, meaning Sia and Dujmovic are on the bench. Now this is it. The Arsenal side on the night was nothing short of incredible. Captained by Max Doman, their side includes the likes of a veteran William Saliba and Levi Colwill in defence, and Bukayo Saka and world-class talent Gormley on the wings. But we too had a world-class side, and as the players walked out at a legendary Champions League hymn, we believed. The spectacle started in the worst way possible, however. Former wonderkid, now world-class midfielder and captain Max Doman quickly showed his quality, with a powerful, well-placed finish. Then it turned cagey. Next to nothing happened for the next 25 minutes. But then, we equalized. Kasunic's free kick found the head of Kuzmanovic, who headed it across the box for Radivojevic to effortlessly tap in. Okay, back level. The question now was, could we turn this game on its head completely? Well, yes. Yes, we could. The decision to start Daniel Radojkovic paid off on the stroke of half-time, as he towered over everyone else in the box to head home an F.A. Akman corner. We lead in a Champions League final. But then, Gigolai's clearance fell to right winger Gormley. He took it past an overcommitting Gojani before somehow blasting it wide. Wow, we've gotten away with one there. That means we lead at the break. 45 minutes away. 45 minutes of holding on to do. But we didn't just hold on. We kept going forward. As if the decision to start Radojkovic hadn't already paid off, he made the night into his night. Just over a minute into the second half, he got the ball from Selenica, well inside our half. He proceeded to go for it, all on his own. Down to the byline, he cuts inside before playing a powerful pass into the box. There, it's heartbreakingly for him, but incredibly for us, deflected off midfielder Asmus and past the scrambling Urbig in net. And that was it. FBK Balkan, with a squad full of players from the 12 Balkan nations, had done it. Club icon F.A. Akman could lift the trophy, and along with the rest of the squad, proudly call himself a champion of Europe. We had taken little FBK Balkan from Sweden's 4th tier to the very top of the European game. And so, that concludes one hell of a story. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed it.
I said, are you gonna be my girl?